Welcome to No Place Like Home, the radio show, coming to you on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. This program is presented to you as an opportunity to hear information that can help you fulfill the dream of owning your very own home. We also share information about upcoming special events and programs to help you enjoy the good life in Pinellas County, as well as other items of interest. The sponsor of this program is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, which offers the First-Time Homebuyers Program. I'm Carmen Lemberg, alongside Jane Merlin, your host for today's show. How are you doing today, Jane?
I'm doing well, and hope you are too.
I am. Thank you very much.
Well, we've got a really interesting program today. We're going to be talking about the Land Assembly Fund, and I know just about enough to be dangerous on this topic.
I know just about enough to know it's going to be a really good show.
I think so too. Looking forward to it. But before we begin, I know that you have an update from our sponsor.
I do. Thank you very much. The Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County is offering the First-Time Homebuyers Program, your key to home ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. The First-Time Homebuyers Program is for individuals who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the past 3 years, or veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, we can help you with that also. To get your key to home ownership, visit our website at www.pinellascounty.org/HFA as in Housing Finance Authority. For more information or comments about the show, call us at 727-223-6419 or email us at newhome@pinellashfa.com. Jane?
Thank you, Carmen. And it's interesting. On my way into work today, I actually heard something on the radio that made me think of you and your program, and that was that there are a lot of individuals out there who are paying more than 50% of their salary towards their rent.
I've heard the same thing ever since the housing crash and investors picked up all the houses, and then they turned around and they're renting them at high rates, and people have no choice. They need place to live, and so they are spending so much time just trying to pay rent so they can keep a roof over their head. It's something out there.
Very difficult, and of course, when you're paying that much for your housing, you often don't have enough to put into savings and create the nest egg that is so important for rainy day events and what have you. And
exactly.
I know that your program for first-time home buyers is very helpful to assist people that are interested in home ownership, but we also know that there are a lot of people who are not interested in being homeowners for whatever reason, and so it's very important to have a good stock of rental properties available.
Exactly. And affordable, decent rental properties. I mean, that's the key. We want to make sure that everybody has access to affordable, decent housing.
Which is a perfect segue into today's topic to discuss the Land Assembly Fund. And I'm very pleased to introduce our guests that are with us today. Renee Vincent is the Division Manager for Community Development and Planning. She's been with Pinellas County for over a year, and prior to joining the county, she was the Planning Director for the City of Tarpon Springs. She has a Master of Urban and Regional Planning degree from Virginia Tech and is a member of the American Planning Association and the American Institute of Certified Planners. Renee has nearly 20 years in planning and government administration. Sherry Harris is a Program Compliance Administrator with the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County. She has more than 30 years' experience in the housing field, both in the public and private sector. Her previous experience includes oversight of federal, state, and local grants, such as the Community Development Block Grant Program, Neighborhood Stabilization, Home Investments Partnership Program and the State Housing Initiative Partnership Program. She also managed the Pinellas County Community Development Compliance Division. She joined the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County in February 2015, and her focus is in compliance and implementation of new programs that address workforce housing. Welcome to No Place Like Home, Sherry and Renee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you all have been here before, so it's nice to have you to return with us. And Carmen, you've got one of your coworkers here with you today, so this is kind of neat.
It's kind of fun. We got a chance to sort of get excited talking about this, before the show and working up some stuff, and so I'm looking forward to this. Sherry knows a lot, and Renee, we've been working real close with her. It's going to be good.
Well, good deal. So, Renee, let's have you start off and tell us a little bit about what the Land Assembly Fund is.
Sure, thank you. The Land Assembly Fund is a special fund set aside. It was established by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners to specifically for affordable housing, and it's somewhat unique in that it's specifically to purchase land, and so any land that is purchased through the Land Assembly Fund has to remain in the ownership of Pinellas County, or in this case, the Pinellas County Housing Authority. They are our liaison to administer the program for us. The fund was set aside with Penny for Pinellas funds, and initially was funded with $15 million. So we've spent some of that, but quite a bit of that is still available. And as I said, it stated, it is specifically to acquire land. So it's an assembly fund, and it's another form of financing to help bring a project to fruition. And as I said, the Housing Finance Authority is kind of doing the heavy lift for the county on this to implement the fund, and we do that arrangement through an interlocal agreement, and that's the background for it.
And so you're working with the folks in the community who develop workforce housing, as an example, and they come to you and say, "I've got this idea." So how does that part work when they hear about this program? What do people do?
You want me to go? Sure. Thanks. There's a lot of opportunities to partner with developers, other local governments, agencies that are in the business of producing affordable housing. So typically, when you're trying to put together a development project, you'll have funding from different sources. So this is another form of gap funding, if you will, that can go specifically toward the land purchase piece of putting a development together. So we administer this through our normal application for funding that the Housing Finance Authority administers for us. So this is another source of funding that can go with other funds to put together a full project. And it's also, we also have a different, I think we'll talk about a little bit later, another focus for the fund is to acquire existing housing units to make sure that they stay as affordable housing in a community.
And that's probably one of the reasons why the land is staying with the county to maintain
Correct.
that affordability in the future.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned you've got some projects. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with those projects?
Sure, I'd be happy to. We issued a request for application several months ago, and we did it in conjunction with the timeline for developers that are submitting applications to the state for their tax credit program and other financing, because as we all know, it takes several layers of financing to do affordable housing. We did receive quite a bit of response in conjunction with that request. We just recently closed on our very first project with the Land Assembly funds. It's a 76-unit development in downtown Clearwater, and we were just by there the other day, and it's getting you can see dirt starting to move, and they're in the process to get started. So all 76 of those units are going to be affordable, and they will serve families at under 60% of area median income. So we're really looking to target these units as very affordable.
Oh, wow, that is great. Anything else that's out there? Are you looking for additional projects?
Well, maybe I could just touch a little bit on the other 6 applications that were submitted for consideration. We had a request of about $5 million for land assembly funds that would create another 300 units of affordable rental housing. Those are, as I said, in conjunction with the tax credit financing at the state. We hope to hear sometime between March and May if we've had successful applications, and if so, they've received a reservation of funding, so they would come back to us to get their commitment of funds with the land assembly program. So we're excited about that, and we hope we're going to have at least 1 or 2 projects that get funded at the state.
That's great. Any other additional avenues you're looking at to get projects, Renee?
Excuse me. As long as we have funds available, the application will be out there and will be available. We're also, I guess we can go ahead and maybe touch on kind of the other focus for the use of the land assembly funds. It's a little bit out of the box, if you will. We have a letter of interest posted through the Pinellas County Purchasing Department if there are property owners that are interested in selling their property to the county. We will look at that as if for the purposes of affordable housing. We can evaluate that and perhaps proactively purchase property. We do have a project that's hopefully going to close soon in the Lillman area. It's a little over 7 acres and has about 53 housing units. And really, it's kind of a twofold process. One, it gives us an opportunity to perhaps prevent an area from destabilizing, as we have so many investor-owned properties, and so that may or may not be good for an area. Let's leave it at that. But if we can, proactively acquire some of those properties that may otherwise go to an investor that may not have the best interest of the community in mind, then we can prevent destabilization from happening in a neighborhood. And then conversely, if we can acquire some properties that are otherwise up for sale, that we can rehab and put back out for affordable housing, and maybe bring an area up. So that's a little bit different. I don't know that it was 100% anticipated when we started with the Land Assembly Fund, but it is an avenue that we're going down. So we're actively looking at opportunities to acquire property. We are looking at a 2-acre minimum for that, unless it's within what we're calling the Lillman Innovation Area, and if people will consider smaller infill properties around this other assembly of land that we already have. They're expecting to close on hopefully by February in the Lillman area. So if people are interested in that, they can. It's probably easiest just to contact the planning department at 464-8200 and speak with myself or another staff member, and we can direct them toward where they can get the information on the letter of interest and what they would need to submit to the county to perhaps be considered to purchase that land. And just a caveat so that people do understand, we do have to, if we make those purchases, it does have to be at appraised value. So we can't go higher. It's got to be at appraised value. So.
Now, you mentioned earlier the Lillman Innovation Area. What does that mean?
That is it's an area that we have kind of put on paper, if you will. That's where we really want to focus, kind of out of the box programs, projects to see what works to help a community, to help stabilize a community, to perhaps bring in jobs, to bring in services. So it's I don't have the exact boundaries that I can spout out over the air for you, but if people are interested in that, again, they can contact us and we'll fill them in as best we can. So this is a work in progress. This is very new, but it is an area where we have some latitude to experiment and see what works in an area to try to help the community, help stabilize the area, bring in jobs and services and things of that matter.
And so how do you figure out which projects you're going to accept? I'm sure you may have a lot of applications already, and trying to weed through those and figure out how you're going to accept a project.
From the standpoint of the applications that I was referring to, the 7 applications that we received with the first request for application, we're really looking for projects that are ready to go. They have their financing in place, and all they need is that little bit of subsidy to make the deal work, which is what we can provide for the component of the land. So we're really looking for shovel-ready projects that we can get units in place quickly as affordable.
And when do you anticipate some of the first units will be available?
The first project that we closed on, as I said, is they're turning dirt right now. So I would expect that by 2017 we will have those 76 units on the ground and being leased up. So that would be the first one. And then as Renee mentioned, the Lilman area, we hope to close in February on that project, and we have units that will need to be leased up there as well. So they're probably about 50% occupied right now. So we'll have units that we'll be able to provide for families.
Now, how will that work with you've got some that are occupied, so when they come in to redo this project, what's going to happen to those individuals?
We don't have a set plan right now for what will happen with those units. The immediate plan is to, if things need to be rehabbed, but is to keep them in an affordable housing rental market that'll be administered by a separate organization. So they'll remain as rental units. There may be some units that we may need. And just to clarify, it's kind of a mix. So you have some small apartments and you have several single-family homes. So things that need to be rehabbed, we'll get some rehab funds in, and we'll rehab those and keep those available in the rental market. There may be some that we just need to tear down. And then we'll evaluate. But we don't have a set plan right now for redeveloping the property, but certainly in the future, that's the intent, is that this land would probably be redeveloped with housing, new affordable housing.
Interesting. I want to touch briefly back on something you were talking about before about preserving some of the existing housing stock, and you explained how that's working. Have you had much interest in that, though?
We have received some additional letters of interest for people that, again, are interested in selling their property for whatever reason. We're trying to focus that in a focused area right now. So to have a little greater effect, so that it's not so scattered all over the place. And so we have some interest. We haven't. I'm not sure how readily known it is. So that the potential is there that the county, through the HFA, may purchase an individual single-family home. So that's new. So we have a little bit of interest, not a lot right now.
That's just getting off the ground. Now, if folks want to get some information, where do they go to get the application for the land fund? You'd mentioned they can call about the single-family home into planning. Sherry, where do they go for the application for the Land Assembly Fund?
Well, the information is on the HFA website, but also, as Renee mentioned, we are utilizing the application process through the county's process, because they have additional funding available as well. So we're trying to coordinate those resources so they can go to their site and pull the application down as well.
And what are those sites, just so we can get those out to the listeners?
They are the HFA website, and then also Pinellas Community Development. If you go to their website, under the planning area, they have their application.
Okay, so to the HFA is going to be www.pinellascounty.org/HFA. And then I believe right at the top of that page is where it talks about the Land Assembly Fund.
That is correct.
What is the actual website address for your side?
I do not know it off the top of my head. I apologize.
That's all right.
I should have brought that information with me. But if you go to the general Pinellas County website, and underneath the Planning Department and Community Development, you'll get to the Community Development website where that application can be found.
Okay. All right. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
I'll be ready next time.
What else should we know about the program? Did we miss anything?
Maybe one of the things, if I could just elaborate a little bit further with the acquisition rehab that Renee was talking about, we've had some communication with other jurisdictions and that have some available funding sources. So we're going to be doing another informational request out there for any developers that might be interested or have large multifamily properties that they're interested in purchasing and rehab, and let them know that we definitely have an interest for not only the land assembly but for other resources. For example, with the City of Clearwater, they've indicated that they have some funding and they would like to partner with the program as well. So we will be sending probably another email blast, if you will, out to several developers on our list, and get a release out again that we're interested in some more acquisition rehab as well.
Okay. All right. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm sorry about that. What else should we know about the program? Did we miss anything?
Well,
Oh, that's great. Getting the word out, now's a great time. Hopefully we can help generate a little bit of interest out there and get some more projects away. I know people are always looking at projects, but putting the money together is the hard thing. And now it looks like we've got so many partners that we're starting to bring in that we can help maybe start getting some of these deals put together and on the road.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
And I really like the aspect of the renovation side of this, taking some of the existing properties that are out there and getting them up to a better code, perhaps, that certainly we want to be mindful of hurricane codes and those kinds of things, but also the environmental side where we try to make things a little bit more energy efficient, perhaps. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. We always have funding available through SHIP and home funds to do do rehabs, things like roofs, doors, windows. They can, if people are interested in accessing those funds, whether it be a contractor on behalf of a homeowner that needs a project or needs something completed on their house, the best, I guess the direct line would be maybe to call Bruce Bussey in the planning department at 464-8200, and he can help get you in touch with the right folks in our department to help assist with those applications. So that funding is available pretty much always. There are obviously income limits and things of that nature that are associated with that, but we encourage people to access those funds.
Sherry, I wanted to go back to something I think that you had talked about, the income limits, getting back to the Land Assembly Fund, that there was a requirement that I think the eligibility was 60% of the area median income.
That was for the project that we just funded. With land assembly funds, we can actually go up to 120% of area median income. So we have flexibility. And Pinellas County has always had the philosophy that they like to do the mixed income, and which we're very supportive of as well. Just so happens that this first project, because of the funding it received at the state, was at 100%. But we do have flexibility with those income limits.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the requirements under the state statute is for at least 30% of the units have to be at no higher than 120 AMI. So that's the absolute threshold. So we can work within that. And we, again, as Sherry stated, we're really interested in getting a range of affordability in a given project.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the philosophy that you referred to, and that was the mixed income. Tell us a little bit more about that and why that's important.
Well, I'll let Renee speak up, but from my perspective, it's always been that we don't want to have developments that are concentrated with all low-income housing, and I think when you put a mixture of market rate units in there as well, they there's this bonding, if you will, and kind of mentoring that can occur from market rate units with families that are just getting started and they're lower income and working their way up. So I think it's an excellent philosophy, and they've supported that for a number of years.
Yeah, history has kind of proven that these high concentrations of nothing but affordable or low income housing, especially in high concentrations, it just simply it's a failing recipe. So to Sherry's point, if the best mix really seems to be if you can tuck in 30-40% of various affordability inside of a market rate project, that's where we seem to get our best the best. I hate to use the term social engineering, but the best result for the families that in their ability to move up.
Absolutely. And I think also some of that goes to the part of the financing too, because it has become so expensive to develop affordable housing, and the subsidies are so, the resources are so much less now that you have to have that mixture of a higher rent in the market and then kind of helping subsidize the lower income units too. So there's a couple different aspects.
Sure.
And are you starting to see other communities moving towards that direction as well?
with like mixed income projects,
Right.
Certainly, I think that seems to be a very
Absolutely.
common approach now. Because, like as I said, I think historically it's been borne out that just doing affordable housing and sticking it in one location, the end result is usually pretty bad, and they end up being torn down.
And and when you talk about workforce housing, that doesn't necessarily mean it is only low-income people. I mean, there's
Absolutely
a lot
not.
of workforce people who make even in excess of 120% of the area median income that still need that as affordable, safe, decent housing as well. And it's just making sure that it all works together. And let's face it, another thing that we look at in these communities is we want them to be able to afford to maintain the community. And by having all of this mixed income in there, you have a well-rounded community, it's maintained well, it lasts longer, and with the preservation of affordability in there, it kind of just continues to regenerate itself. As some people move up, they buy houses, they relocate, it just keeps flowing through, and it just continues to spread throughout the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about housing for, our firemen, our nurses, our teachers. They need housing that they can afford, and it's difficult to find right now.
It
Yeah.
is.
Just for a reference point, for a family of 4 at 120 AMI is like $78,000, I believe.
Yes.
It's so it's not, that's to me that's workforce housing. That's not affordable housing. That's workforce housing.
Absolutely.
And we cover all bases. And as we're looking, like you had mentioned, you had wanted to hopefully in Lillman, as it progresses forward, bring in more jobs to that area.
Absolutely.
And I know we've talked on previous shows the importance of our workforce here in Pinellas County is getting priced out of living in the county they work in. And that's all the people that work out on the beaches, that work here in the city. We've got to make sure that workers can afford to live here and not have to commute.
Absolutely.
And Carmen, you reminded me about Lellman, and we recently had on the show guests talking about the CRA for Lellman. Renee, can you speak to that a little bit for us?
Sure. The planning department we're in process of currently we're drafting the Lillman Community Redevelopment Area Plan, and the redevelopment area itself was officially adopted and established in July of 2015 by the Board of County Commissioners. And so our next step in the process is actually drafting the redevelopment plan and getting that approved. And then in conjunction with that, hopefully June, July timeframe, the plan will be completed and we'll actually establish the redevelopment trust fund, which is that tax increment financing district. So it sets a base tax, and then any incremental increase in the taxes, the property taxes, that money goes into a special fund that can only be spent in the community redevelopment area. So we have to have the plan to spend the money. So we're in process of getting that plan done, and there will be a community meeting to talk about the plan. And if you want to know more about that, would go to our Lillman Community Redevelopment Area website, and you can find that information there.
That's so many exciting things happening in that community, and it's really going to be such a great benefit to everybody who lives there, not just the residents, but the business community as well.
Absolutely. This is really going to be an effort to establish new business, help people create new businesses in the community that they live in. So it's creating the housing, new housing, stabilizing the area. So it's going to be a very broad, encompassing plan. It's a 30-year plan, so it'll take time, obviously, but we're very excited about it.
But I think even over the next couple of years, it's going to be very exciting to see the changes that have occurred in that community.
Oh, absolutely.
It is. It's a great
It's an
time.
exciting project.
It is.
Very much so. Well, thank you both so much for talking with us about the Land Assembly Fund, and we hope that we'll be able to see some additional applications coming in and do more great things out there.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank our guests, Renee Vincent, Pinellas County Planning Department, and Sherry Harris with the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County. Thanks for listening to us on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. We look forward to having you join us next month. If you missed any part of this show or would like to view past shows, you can check out the website or YouTube. I'm Jane Merlin.
And I'm Carmen Lemberg.
Thanks for tuning in, and make it a great day.